In this video, I'll define the use and application of DevOps for data science and machine learning. I like to start with the basics and build up. So, what is the base of DevOps for data science and machine learning? Well, DevOps for data science and machine learning is sometimes called DataOps, but I tend to avoid that term. I'll usually say DevOps for data science or data DevOps. For myself, DataOps doesn't really give the complete picture. So, DevOps for data science and machine learning gives a more complete picture. So I like to always refer to the term as DevOps. The approach is the same as if we were doing it just for software, but we're including machine learning models and other data science tasks in the mix. When it comes to DevOps, we're not talking about a framework, so this isn't some specific agile or scrum approach. For people, we focus on team and communication. Nothing should happen in a silo. Nothing happens independently. We work as part of a team and we communicate our results. We don't want a lone data scientist churning out results and models and shoehorning them into production in an ad hoc fashion. It's better to think of applying DevOps to data as a cultural shift. The process centers around version control, often distributed with Git or Subversion, with continuous integration and deployment, so that's at the center of our process. This takes on several forms we need to consider. So how does it all fit together? Well, we start with the software. So we have to focus on the tools needed, but only so much as they are integrated into the process and culture of DevOps. So we have the obvious software like Git, or an IDE like RStudio or Spider, and then we need integration tools for continuous integration and deployment. We use containerization if necessary, like Docker and Kubernetes, and other ways to automate the build, test, deploy, iterate cycle of machine learning. And we have to consider the data. Well, this is data science and machine learning. The data is at the center of that. How do we do version control for data? Do we just do it for the resulting models? And how does this compare to software DevOps? We need a plan and we need to consider approaches when applying DevOps to data. And then we have the infrastructure itself. Where does everything get gathered from, built, integrated, tested, and deployed? We'll have pieces on big workstations with many GPUs and lots of RAM for training models. We'll have servers for continuous integration and delivery, version control, ETL, computing clusters, cloud services. These are all pieces of a puzzle that need to fit together. Doing this well is the aim of DevOps for data science. So what does a typical data science process look like? Well, at least for our purposes, we'll look at a simple view so we can define what we're integrating into our culture and process and the DevOps tools, what they'll help us do. So we need to train, validate, and test data sets. This is a fairly typical approach. Then we need to deploy and secure the results, deploying to a test cluster or some staging environment, before deploying to a production environment. Then once we get it into production, we need to make sure that the content is secure, and it has to be a part of our process. So after the model's in production, we need logging and monitoring to know how the model is performing and how we can iterate and improve upon what we have. We need to gather more data and iterate this process quickly. There are many ways to do it, but to do it efficiently and quickly, it takes planning and effort. So the main reason I wanted to approach DevOps for data science from this perspective is when it's done well, what can we expect to gain? What are the benefits of DevOps? Well, we get speed, reliability, scale, rapid deployment, and security. This is what we'd like to achieve, and if we incorporate DevOps into our organizations and processes, into the culture of development, then this is what it gives us. Improvements in each step of our data science process, the machine learning model's lifecycle, the discipline to build, integrate, and deploy in automated and continuous fashion frees us from the manual steps that invariably go wrong at times and gives us a testable and repeatable routine. And that concludes this presentation on applying DevOps to data.